Once upon a time, high in the mountains, there was a man. A man stretched between two rocks, hovering over an eternally deep chasm. These two rocks, however, symbolize two different ends of what's in between them. The one rock being an animal, the other one a higher level of human being, also called the Übermensch. What's stretched between these two ends is you, me, and everybody else in this world. We all are touching our animal ancestors with our tippy toes and at the same time reaching with our fingertips towards our ultimate potential, towards what we might call the Übermensch. As Nietzsche says, a man is a rope stretched between the animal and the Superman, a rope over an abyss. This Nietzsche's metaphor is a simple yet brilliantly accurate description of what the Übermensch actually means. Every human being has the potential to grow and evolve. The possibility to take the big courageous leap and become stronger and better version of themselves. Everybody can become the Übermensch, yet most people won't. Let's break down how to become the Übermensch in 3 steps. Step number 1. Embrace self-overcoming. Becoming an Übermensch is first of all a mindset thing. It means choosing self-overcoming as a way to live. It's not a small change, it's a paradigm shift. A very unusual way of viewing things and events in our life. The hardest thing about self-overcoming is that it's counterintuitive. Our lower self, the animal part of our brain, wants to seek comfort and security. It doesn't look for challenges. No, in fact, it couldn't care less about our ambitions to become our best self. Its only objective is survival. So before you do anything else, it's necessary that you start viewing pain and difficulties as an opportunity for your progress. This pertains to every level. In preparing for the exam in school, you see an opportunity to become well versed in a particular topic. After a rough breakup, you embrace all the chaotic and painful emotions and channel them into some kind of art. Music, dancing, painting, writing, composing, whatever is close to your heart. In the gym, with every rep tearing up your muscle fibers, your mind should be screaming. Overmensch mindset is all about looking for the positive use of a negative energy. When an obstacle comes your way, you literally flip the narrative in your head from "uh-oh, this is gonna be bad" to finally a chance to move ahead. The more time you do this, the more natural it will feel too, although it never really gets fully automatic. The ultimate level to this is when you become a sucker for pain and suffering. Mind you that BDSM doesn't really count. When you seek struggle instead of avoiding it, that's when your mind is ready to take another step and start creating your new higher self. Step number 2. Create your own values. Once you have your mind set the right way, the road to Übermensch can fully begin. Whether you like it or not, by making the initial mind shift from avoiding struggle to an active seeking of discomfort, you have already alienated yourself from the vast majority of people in this world. Chances are you will actually lose some of your friends in the beginning. It's a tough but necessary sacrifice to become your ultimate best. The next step towards the Übermensch is setting up a new set of your own values. For the Übermensch, nothing is set in stone or granted. Therefore, you have to decide for yourself what you find valuable and meaningful and what not so much. This step is a gigantic leap, a kind of psychological behemoth. By creating a new set of values, you are literally creating a new world for yourself. Your whole existence starts to gravitate to these new values and everything around you starts to change. For example, let's say you value your freedom more than money. Suddenly the job that pays you less but lets you get up any time of the day and go for a short outside walk because you are working remotely sounds much better than a few $100 extra. When setting new values, keep in mind that the order of the values is also important. The example I just mentioned doesn't necessarily mean that money isn't important to you, but rather that money ranks below your freedom to organize your time independently. It seems so obvious, but trust me, it's not so common. In fact, don't take my word for it. Go and ask 3 of your friends or even random people to name 5 of their most important values. You will see that they will have to think pretty hard to come up with the answer, if they do at all. Except for the mind shift we talked about, nothing else will have such a profound life-changing effect. In the near future, I will do a deep dive series on the values of an Übermensch. To create your own set of values, you need two things: relentless self-honesty and a lot of thinking time. Take your time. To realize what really truly matters to you might take you a couple weeks, even months. Once you think this through, write your values down. Ideally, long-handedly, in a paperback notepad that you can carry around. There is a psychological as well as neurological reason why this works. As already mentioned, setting your own values is literally creating a new world for yourself, and that can take some time. The key is to listen to your inner voice instead of conforming to whatever the society says to be important. Ask yourself what really matters to you in life and listen carefully. Step number 3. Take action. The last part of becoming an Übermensch is also undeniably the hardest part. First, you reset your thinking patterns. Then, you recreate your own system of values. So the last thing that remains is to live up to your new standards. Or in other words, act out your new values. Nobody has to tell you how hard this is. You already know. You realized it the last time when you started a new diet plan and betrayed it like 3 days later cause an affair with box of donuts ain't that big of a deal. You realized it the last time when you set out to read for 2 hours every day, but somehow you didn't find the time, to which your Instagram reels laughed their algorithm off. Or maybe you realized it when you said yes while your mind was screaming a resolute no. The problem is, you never brought enough consciousness to these decisions. You never really considered how big of a change such a seemingly small decision really means. You just thought for a second, I should change that, and reverted back to your old habits. You probably didn't even write down a plan or promise to yourself. Of course, it's not the case that when you write something down, you will automatically do it, but as we pointed out earlier, it is important. Acting in accordance with your new set of values is hard because first, habits are so hard to break, and secondly, because we are social animals. Especially if you are by nature a people pleaser, overcoming the initial inertia caused by the fear of criticism coming from society, friends, and even family can be really difficult. But if you persist, if you stick with what you really value, it can be done. I have actually personally struggled with overcoming the people pleaser syndrome and deploying self-assertiveness for several years. So if you are having a hard time with something similar, I would like to leave you with my own paraphrase of Shakespeare's quote. To be liked by others and hated by myself, or to be liked by myself and hated by others? That's the question. In the end, you will not be hated by all. Some will hate you, many will respect you, but most importantly, your true self will like you. And that's how you become the Übermensch. Which of the values of Übermensch would you like me to dive into first? You can choose from independence, courage, or integrity. Thank you in advance and see you next time, fellow thinkers.